The time checking the studio is just 3 minutes can pass 9 o'clock, and welcome to another very topical discussion right here on the Viewpoint on your rock station solid 100.9 FM every Friday. Of course, so what we do is try as much as possible to bring to you in connection, of course, will I say in collaboration with the eye specialist hospital in Enugu, to bring to you, of course, different editions of Glaucoma on radio. And this morning, of course, is no different because right here on the Viewpoint, all we need to do is try as much as possible to spotlight some of the big things happening in glaucoma. As we always know, our eyes are often called the windows to the soul, yet for many, they also are the most neglected part of the body until something goes wrong. Now, what does it really mean to love your eyes? It is just about wearing designer glasses, using eye drops, or taking selfies with good lighting? Or does it go deeper than that into probably regular checkups, healthy habits, and understanding silent traits like glaucoma that can steal vision without warning? As we focus today, of course, on a particular theme, which is, of course, what loving your eye is and not, we will explore what genuine eye care truly entails, why prevention must come before cure, and how every listener can take charge of their vision when it comes to, of course, the health, regardless of age or background. Joining me this morning for that discussion, but anyways, my name is Chibike Peter, and joining me this morning is Professor Nkiru Kezo Akariwe. Of course, she's here this morning to do justice to today's discussion. She's a consultant ophthalmologist, and of course, she's with the Enugu State University Teaching Hospital, Parkland, Enugu, and she's the governor representing Africa in the World Glaucoma Association. Of course, she's the big gun we have in the studio this morning to do justice to our discussion. Ma, you're welcome to the program.
Thank you very much.
All right. Today, of course, is a little bit different from probably what we've been discussing on glaucoma on radio right here on solid 100.9 FM. And this morning, we are actually looking at one big question, which of course is focusing on the theme, what loving your eyes is and not. This morning, I just want to, of course, let's dive into the discussion quickly because it's a very interesting one. Prof, now, when you say love your eyes, what exactly does that mean in practical terms so we can understand better?
Thank you very much, and thank you, our listeners, for joining in every Friday morning, as usual, for this time together where we usually discuss about glaucoma. But today is a bit different, that we're not actually focusing majorly on glaucoma, because yesterday was the World Sight Day. Okay, and the World Sight Day is a day when the International Agency for Prevention of Blindness, together with the eye world, together with all our collaborators and supporters and stakeholders, ensure or promote eye health, and so that people can be conscious of the fact that they need their eyes. Okay. And also, it's a time when we create awareness among the public in the whole world that your eyes are important. And it's also a time we seek political will to support eye care, especially to the underprivileged. So the theme for this year's World Sight Day actually is Love Your Eyes. And this World Sight Day, the theme, we've been celebrating it for about 10 years going now. And we are going to discuss about what it means to love your eyes. So like what Chibike asked, that what really does it mean to love your eyes? Let me start with a very common, easy to do one.
Okay.
Now, we live in the tropics, and one major characteristic of living in the tropics is sun. There's a lot of sun in our part of the world. Sun is life. But also there are some harmful aspects of sun. There's something we call ultraviolet rays that can have damaging effects on the eyes. And because of that, we encourage people wear sunglasses if you're going out of your house. But if you're already wearing glasses, then put in some features in it that changes color, what we commonly call a photochromic, transition lenses, that such that once you go out in the sun, it changes color and gives your eye a UV means ultraviolet, UV protection. Okay, and when it gives you that, so it protects your eyes from the harmful effects of eye. So when you see somebody wearing sunglasses, yes, somebody say, the person is doing guy. So it's beyond doing guy, it's part of loving your eyes. And then when you enter into the room, into the house, you remove the sunglasses, because since there's no sun outside inside the building. All right, so that's one way you can love your eyes. Get sunglasses. Chibuike, do you have sunglasses you use?
I think it do. I think it do. But
Okay.
that's why today is going to be very interesting because there's a whole lot I'm going to learn from sunglasses and with the points you actually raised about different colors.
Yeah.
I think is very important. But many people assume that if they can see clearly, if they can just see, their eyes must be fine. How true is that?
Yeah, it's not true, because sometimes, and that brings me to the second point of how to love your eyes.
Okay.
Sometimes you are seeing well, and it is because your eyes are making efforts to enable you to see well. Okay, so if by the as the day progresses you start having aches in your eye, or headaches, or your eye feels strained and all that, your eyes might be compensating on your behalf to in your eye muscles to enable you see well. Okay, so go check your eyes. So sometimes there's nothing bad in you, I mean, which is part of loving your eyes. Intermittently, once every year, go and have your eyes checked. If you're not focusing well, then a prescription glasses will be given to you to enable you see well without you having to strain your eyes. We does is there anything you are doing now, even to live, we use our eyes. So if those eyes are straining to focus well, then over time it's going to give you eye strain, it's going to give you ocular aches, it's going to give you headaches. So see that you have your eyes checked, and if your eyes need glasses to see well, wear your prescription glasses. So if you combine it with the first point I spoke about, of protecting your eyes from sun
Sun.
radiation, then those prescription glasses, you can have transition features, photochromic features put into them, so that you can be able to, when you come out in the sun, it changes color. When you get into the house, it clears up. Okay, so it's part of loving your eyes to ensure that you don't strain them when they are doing their work of helping you see.
Okay, I'm going to say something, just ask a question that actually connects with what we just discussed right now, which has to do with myths and misconceptions about how people see, how they take care of their eyes. What are some of these common habits that people think show they care for their eyes but actually harm them? They don't know that they're actually doing some certain things that it's actually not prescribed, that are positive for them to actually take care of their eyes, but they have just been followed by conceptions, misconceptions, as well as myths that this is the normal practices that should be done to take care of the eyes.
Okay, I'll start with the one we ladies do,
Okay.
which is like fixing eyelashes.
Hmm.
You want to make it look beautiful, but sometimes it gets into the eyes and it hurts the eye. Sometimes cosmetics that ladies apply, like eyeliners and all that, they get into the eye and cause irritation. Meanwhile, one is applying all those things to make the eyes look more beautiful. but they can end up being harmful. Also, we have some persons who wear contact lenses, cosmetic contact lenses. And when people are not properly instructed on how to use contact lenses and they use it wrongly, it can be a very dangerous move to do. So don't just go buy cosmetic lenses to use without being properly instructed on how to use them. Now, very importantly, is in terms of things people put into the eyes, which they think they are helping the eyes, and yet but they are harming the eyes. People put things from breast milk to battery water to urine. So now, breast milk has some glucose in it. Okay, so if an eye has an infection, because the breast milk also has some little bits of I will not call it antibiotics, but things that help, some anti-inflammatory things. They think that it can clear the eyes. So and somebody has problem in the eye, they say, Mama Ngozi is breastfeeding, go, let's her put some drops of breast milk into the eye. Now, depending on if it is an infection, then you're giving it more nutrients to flourish. So don't put eye breast milk into the eye. It's not eye drop, at all. Don't do that. And then urine. Some people put urine. They have some problem in the eye, they put urine. Sometimes there are infection. Somebody has an infection in the urine, and they put it into the eye, and then the eye becomes infected. We've seen a lot of previously a lot of gonococcal infection involving the eye, and when you ask closely, the person has put some urine into the eye. Not to talk of battery water. Now, battery water has some acid. And then we've seen a woman we managed in Backlane that she just had what we call Apollo, and rather than just let it pass because it's a viral thing, it will clear by itself after it's run its course. She was advised by neighbors, put battery water, and she puts, and that's how she lost both eyes. So our people in the East here say, Adeji friji agbana nti agbana anya. You don't use what you use in cleaning the ear to put in the eye. In other words, bringing out that the eyes are very delicate. You ought to be careful what you put into it. So don't put things anyhow into your eye. Somebody advertises something in the bus and say, just put it, it cures cataract, glaucoma, this, that,
and you
everything, and you buy and put inside the eye. Don't put things carelessly into the eye. Even if you take them, the digestive system is stronger to handle issues, okay, than the eyes putting things that are unverified in the eyes.
Okay.
And even if you must put, because your village people are pursuing you, put only in one eye, so that if it damages, you have one remaining. But don't go and put in the two eyes at the same time.
This is a very interesting. I think the one you spoke about, the lady, just got me a little bit. But, are these things different from cultural or traditional practices? Do we have cultural practices that are actually separate from these misconceptions, or can we classify them as the same thing?
Well, they are kind of part of the same concepts, people, because part of the traditional thing is to believe that breast milk works, for instance.
Okay.
And also that urine works. So they are all mixed together. There's one other one I would like to mention, and that is what we call couching.
Okay.
Couching is an old traditional way of dealing with cataracts, that was done in the early 1900s, when there was no known way of dealing with cataracts. Cataract is cloudiness of the lens. Every eye has a lens, lens, and the lens is transparent the way your glasses can be transparent. But if that lens begins to become cloudy, we call it cataracts. So every light that one sees, anything picture you see, the rays from that object passes through the lens for one to see it. So when the lens becomes cloudy, then the way one sees goes down. We call it cataract. Now, when cataract is the eye, I said the traditional way is couching. What is couching? They heat up something that is like an iron, on a pointed iron, and they use it and push at that lens in the eye. Okay, hit it away, and it falls into the back of the eye. So that lens, so they dislocate it from its position so that light can pass through the small of the eye, the small black pupil of the eye, for the eye to see. So when they push it away, the eye begins to see at least around its environment. Somebody can now make out their food, make out where before they weren't seeing.
Okay.
But it is wrought, that method of treatment is wrought with a lot of complications that a number of times end up blinding the eye. So it had many years ago in the early 1900s, been stopped. When cataract surgery, the modern cataract surgery was developed, that method was stopped. Okay, but in this day and age, people are still practicing it. And the unfortunate thing is that they go to churches and convince the priests that, they can treat people of their problem now and here, and they might bring somebody who wasn't seeing at all, who they hit that thing off, and the person can now say, I can make you are wearing red dress now, and the people, hey, didn't see any color before, and the priest thinks that, this works, and then they say, you don't need to reach hospital, we can do it here for you now, and it's sharp, and people troop, and they go and present their eyes, and that couching is done, and they pay. It's not as though it's free. They pay heavily for it, only for after the eye has seen for 1 week, 2 weeks, then the story changes, and then the eyes go blind. Okay, so that is one thing. Please, if anybody wants to offer you surgery, a form of surgery, treatment in your house, say, I will come to your house and do it. That eye you're not seeing with you, we start seeing with it now. Please run. And I'm telling you that these cultures are in different places in the country, even right in the capital city, Abuja. We've had a big man, a senior citizen, a senior person in government who somebody deceived, and he went to a place thinking that it was proper treatment, and in Abuja, and they did that on him.
Okay.
So it's very common in our environment. I'm highlighting it so that our people can take care.
Thank you.
And not be deceived.
Thank you very much. If you're just joining us, of course, 23 minutes have gone past 9 o'clock. It is still The Viewpoint on your rock dial, solid 100.9 FM. And of course, we're doing things in collaboration with the Eye Specialist Hospital, Test, right here in Enugu State. We're bringing to you something a little bit different from the usual, where we get to talk about, Love Your Eyes, as the theme for the 2025 World Sight Day, which of course was observed yesterday. And we still have in the studio Professor Nkiru Kezakari. Of course, she is here with us this morning. Now, what we will do is go on a short commercial break. When we come back, we'll be looking at advocacy and those things that should be done to make sure that these things, of course, are well taken care of. Don't go nowhere. All right, you're welcome back. 9:30 is the time. It is still, of course, Viewpoint on your rock station, solid 100.9 FM. We've been talking, we've been discussing, we've been having conversation concerning one of the biggest problem in, of course, our society, glaucoma. And today, of course, is a different one altogether, where we are discussing about loving your eyes. Loving your eyes. Yesterday was World Sight Day, which, of course, was observed, and the theme for the year's celebration is loving your eyes. And of course, we have in the studio Professor Nkiru Keza Kariwe, of course, the governor representing Africa in the World Glaucoma Association. She's also a consultant ophthalmologist right here at the ESO Teaching Hospital in Parkland, Enugu. And she has been talking very deep, giving us insights on how we can love our eyes. Now, we said when we come back, we'll be looking at actions as well as advocacy that will be taken, that should be taken, for we to eradicate, if not totally, but of course to a high level, that we can say glaucoma is no longer our fear. All right, Professor. Now, let's. You earlier mentioned about during your introduction, you talk about political wills that could help, in strengthening how we love our eyes. As part of advocacy, how do we do that?
Thank you very much. Actually, it's we need data. When we have data, it enables us to engage the political class
Okay.
so that they know the challenges that both the eye care providers and the public are having in that area to be able to put into it. And we have actually generated data, for instance, in this country, which those in the center have been using to make advocacy. As we speak, just in recognition of this World Sight Day, the federal government actually made available quite a lot of glasses for the people, which they have sent to different states. And Enugu State's Ministry of Health has actually received her own from the federal government, which we hope to share and give out to people at this period. Okay, so it's what the data we gather at the field help us to make advocacy with the government, and the data that we have, which we've been talking about, cataracts, for instance, is the commonest cause of blindness amongst our people and also worldwide, and glaucoma is the second commonest cause of blindness. And apart from that, what we call refractive error, it's the leading cause of moderate visual loss. Now, what does that mean? Refractive error is where somebody has long sight or short sight, so all that hampers somebody's productivity. So when you enable somebody to see well, then that person's productivity improves. So that is the one that the federal government is actually trying to address at this time by providing free glasses. But a number of people are not seeing well, and all they require is a simple glasses to use. Now, by talking about loving your eyes also, it's important to note that there are certain eye conditions that do not give any notice to the person who has a problem that they are there. And so it's important to have a regular eye check. We've been talking about glaucoma on this platform for some months now. Glaucoma is one leading cause of symptomless blindness, and that's why it's called the silent thief of sight. So as you are listening to me now, you might actually have glaucoma. We say God forbid, yes, but it might be there and you don't know. How would you know if it's there or not? It's just by checking. So part of loving your eyes is to go and have an eye check. Schedule an eye check every year. At this time we are having World Sight Day, or during in March when we have World Glaucoma Day, there are always hospitals that offer free screenings for people to go and have a screening. The Eye Specialist Hospital, for instance, has free screening on Saturday. There are a number of other hospitals. Crystal View, I think, also has, that have eye screenings in different parts of town, and they will spread the information. If you get it, go and have one. So don't say, I don't have money to go and check my eyes. At this period, World Sight Day, World Glaucoma Week in March, there will always be one available. And you do that. So that is part of loving your eyes. And additionally, when we are all addicted to screens now. Most
Sure.
people is you have to your work is done on screen, and those whose work are not done on screen, they are addicted to social media, so they are entertaining themselves on screen.
Sure.
So we are almost always on screen 247. And one important way of loving your eyes is to observe the 20-20-20 rule, which is for 20 minutes you've been on the screen, look away from your screen for about 20 seconds. Look at something, some far distance that is like 20 feet away. 20 feet is like 6 meters away. So if you're in a room, as far as you can, that room stretches, look there. If it has a window, look through the window to a far object so that you can relax your eyes. Otherwise, over time, you will begin to develop what we call the computer eye syndrome. So observe the 20-20 rule because it's very important for your own eye health. That is part of loving your eyes. And for children, it's almost criminal to leave children all day on screens. It's terrible. There's an epidemic of myopia happening all over the world now. So please, if you have children under your care, allow them to have at least 2 hours play outside. 2 hours play outside for children, growing children, so that their eyes can relax and they can be able to see far and develop good vision. This is very important.
All right.
Yeah.
We'll give opportunities for people to actually, call in on the show and share their suggestion or probably ask questions. But let's continue in the next a couple of minutes, 2 minutes or so. Let's talk about, still talking about actions as well as advocacy. Aside the government and probably eye specialists, hospitals, individuals, who are the people that should be playing major role in making sure that we have a near syndrome of eradicating, eye issues?
Well, there are NGOs that are committed to eye care. Okay, but then, we cannot wait and have our fate determined, so to speak, by others. So I think the one person in terms of advocacy, a major set of people that need to take responsibility are the people themselves.
True.
So if I take responsibility over my eyes, then I will do things that are important to preserve my vision, knowing that I need them to function. That's one. 2, I will not be careless regarding things over my eyes. 3, I will check out those eyes intermittently to make sure that there's no debilitating condition for the eyes that are starting. And if they are starting, they can be addressed early. It's usually easier to deal with issues earlier. Do you have diabetes, for instance? It is not government who will come and check your eyes. Diabetes affects the eyes. Hypertension affects the eyes. So if you take responsibility over your eyes, you will go and have those eyes checked early every year to make sure it hasn't started affecting it. So the first persons who will ensure that things are okay are we, the people ourselves, to take care and see to it that our eyes are okay. And then, because we are conscious that our eyes are important, assuming we have a political person in the community who wants to come and who wants to campaign, we can say, please bring eye people for us to take care of our eyes. If our people, those who are blind, can see, they will be able to fend for their families. So they will be able to, leaders of communities will be able to make requests of their, not just political class, but of their successful people in their communities
Okay.
to support in that way.
I think you've raised a very vital question, issue concerning how we can love our eyes, and this, is pushed to the rural settings. Most of the times we see people politically. Most of the times we see people who actually want to come into power, who want to continue or advocating for something better politically for them. I think the people can actually use this opportunity to talk to them about issues like this about the eye. But aside that, we've raised very topical discussions, issues uh, this current dispensation of life, is very interesting. Yes, we have it is a digital age, and with that, we're being acquainted with a whole lot of gadgets that gets to do with lighting and all that. And our professor in Kirikese, of course, have talked about how we can help ourselves, especially our children, to not always fixing them on those gadgets. Now, you have the opportunity to call into the program while we keep on discussing, because before the end of the program, we'll also be looking at some of the habit, or when do we'll be asking her the question on when do we start taking care of our eyes. We know we've been discussing about these things every day. We come here on Friday, but we'll also revisit that. But today we are critically looking at loving your eye, of course, which is a theme that was pronounced yesterday based on the World Eye Sight Day. 0909 and 0902311109. Please, when you call, keep it very short and simple, and make sure you are very precise about your question. She'll be here to answer those questions immediately. 0909 Hello, good morning. Welcome.
Hello, good morning.
Yeah, good morning.
It's Mr. Chijuke calling from Ameki.
All right, go ahead, Mr. Chijuke.
Okay, and please, I want to ask this question. Prof.
Yes,
Hello?
yes.
Go ahead, she can hear you.
Okay, the major problem we are having is that those in rural area don't have access to those facilities. And those people are being blind on daily basis in rural area. I want the situation where government can subsidize all the treatment, or they create a routine visit to the village. That's the major problem we are having. We don't have the facilities around. Yeah.
All right.
Thank you.
All right, she'll get to respond to that. We'll take two more calls, and she'll get to answer those questions. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, Chibike James.
Okay, go ahead.
Sorry.
It's fine. Go ahead.
Thank you. So my name is Osmond. I'm calling.
All right.
So there is a question I want to ask Doc in the studio.
Go ahead.
So having known that glaucoma is a genetic eye problem, so I want to ask: is there any way this genetic problem, like somebody is about to develop glaucoma, and we know that the glaucoma is from the gene? I am asking: is there any way that genetic gene that causes that glaucoma can be altered so that glaucoma will not develop in the person's eyes later in the person's life? Thank you very much.
All right, thank you very much, our brother. All right, Prof, please do justice to that.
Okay, thank you very much. Let me start with the second question about if one could. What he's asking about is what we call genetic engineering, medical engineering. If you can alter the genes so that one wouldn't develop glaucoma, since it's just some strong genetic connection. Yeah, thank you. There's a very intelligent question. Actually, genetic studies have happened strongly within the last would I say last 5 to 10 years. That we had the first genetic study in Africa among our patients, and particularly in Nigeria. And we now discover that our own genetic involvement, it's different from what the Caucasians have when it comes to glaucoma. So now when you have discovered the genes involved, so we've done a second study that is a bit more in-depth, to type them particularly. Now when you've discovered the genes, then we now go for the next step is to develop ways of identifying the genes in a simple test, developing tests that can pick them up easily, and not a major thing that you have to take the blood outside the country and all that. So all that and the works. And by the time you are now able to pick those genes easily, then work will also be done to now see how that can be altered. So there are things that are in the works, which we hope that by the grace of God we will have solutions to in our lifetime. So thanks for that question. And then for the first caller who asks about how to take this care to the rural communities, it's a big challenge because one, there's a dearth of eye care professionals because of what we know as the Jackpot syndrome. So we don't have enough. Even in our teaching hospitals, we don't have enough doctors to train in eye. Very few doctors to train. It's a serious problem in Nigeria now. Very serious problem. But the man on the street will not understand until you go to the hospital and there's really no doctor to see you. That will be when we will raise a big alarm. But I can tell you that the situation is bad. However, there are a few NGOs that have started in our own environments. We have it in some other parts of the country, but somehow the southeast was sidelined. But a few NGOs have come up now that are beginning to take eye care to the rural communities. Okay, and there's one, the Philomena Joseph Eye Foundation, that is going to some villages now, some rural communities, to take eye care to them at their doorstep.
All right.
So one can reach them. I can give you their contact, and you can reach them if you want them to come to your community and see what they can do to help.
All right, two more questions, and that will be a wrap from the phone line 0909 771 109 and 0902311 Let's just take two more questions and we'll wrap it up in the next 5 minutes. Hello, good morning.
Please, I had what Prof said just now. Please, can I get the contact now?
All right, she will try to do that before the end of the show. Just keep listening, please.
Okay.
Thank you very much. 0909 771 109 and 0902311 That's the number. You can reach us in the studio this morning to get your calls, as well as ask us some few questions about eye conditions, or maybe you can throw weight on what we've discussed so far. Prof, just before maybe the last caller comes in, how can what are the common habits that people can actually portray that shows that they could be having glaucoma?
Habits?
Yeah. Or maybe signs.
Okay. All right. Now, if somebody, it's one, always within 6 months of changing glasses, is changing the glasses again, saying it's not good again. So if you're having frequent change of glasses, it's important to go check that out. Then secondly, if somebody is having foggy vision as though there is dew, in the atmosphere, that's very important. And then if you see somebody who keeps hitting things by their side, they are moving and then they hit a table that is by the side, or they are walking and they have to bend their head to see the ground. Okay, that might be also a sign.
Okay.
But remember that these signs we are talking about often happen late in the disease process. So at this stage, the glaucoma is advanced. So it's advanced before it starts giving you signs. If you want to pick it early, then you need to go have your eyes checked when you are seeing well and there's no noticeable anything about you regarding to vision. Your vision seems perfect. That's when to go and check.
All right, I think this caller have been calling. Let's get him in the studio. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, Sanchez. Good morning.
What's your name?
It's Angela from Enugu.
Angela from Enugu. Angela, please go ahead quickly.
Okay. Like, I want to ask the doctor, like now, when sometimes is seeing something like blue, so is there anything that can do to the glaucoma? Is there any treatment like patient like that?
Please, you need to
Because
come. Look, Angela, can you hear me?
yes, I can hear you.
Please ask your question again. We didn't get the first part of that.
Okay. Like sometimes I am a glaucoma patient, but sometimes I used to see blue. My major color now that I am not seeing, but I am seeing something like blue.
Something like
Sometimes I
broom.
see blue. Yes, I see blue color, but I am not seeing. Is there anything that can do to divide the vision more?
Okay. Okay, thank you. Angela will attend to that quickly. Thank you very much for calling us. Just get to listen. All right.
Okay.
Prof.
Yes. Yes, what she described is what some patients experience. It has a name in the medical language, that where people who are blind see things. Okay, so it's like a kind of visual hallucination. So they are seeing things inside their head, but the eyes are blind. And there's really no treatment for it. So it's just to learn to ignore those such things and pray that you stop seeing them. Okay, but some, what they see it's good, some what they see is horrible, and tormenting. It's bad enough not to be seen, then inside your head you're now seeing horrible images. So but there's really no medical treatment for it. Okay.
All right. We don't have much time. We would have taken more call. We have just 3 minutes or less to actually wrap up the show this morning. Prof, before you go, what would be your best advice for our listeners in terms of how they love their eyes?
I would say generally the eye is part of the body. And so the way you care for the body, you care for the eyes. Regular exercises, eating healthy diet is very important for the health of the eye. Fruits, vegetables, very important. Avoid toxic things, and do exercises. Aerobics actually reduce eye pressures by 1-2 millimeters of mercury. So exercises, do regular, then have a regular checkup. Don't put terrible things into your eyes. Give your eyes some rest from digital screens intermittently, and allow your children to have some rest outside. And if you have issues, for instance, in your community, like the man who was asking, you can contact 0809 036 0000. 0809 036 0000. Okay, and above all, ensure that you have a regular eye check at least once every year.
Thank you.
Love your eyes.
Of course, I'm going to do that also, as it is very important.
Yes, and I'd like to mention that the eye specialist hospital actually has a screening on Saturday.
Okay.
Free screening. So go check your eyes, 8 a.m. to 4 p.m.
Okay.
And have your eyes checked free.
Free of charge.
Yeah.
All right. I think I'm going to call that number again for our brother who called concerning how he can reach one of the NGOs. The prof spelled out the number as 080 903 60000. 8080 903 6000040. So, our brother, you have the number, and just do the needful. Thank you very much, Professor Nkiru Keza Kariwe. Of course, It is always very special to have you in the studio to talk and enlighten us about our eyes. Professor Nkiruke, of course, is a consultant ophthalmologist with the Enugu State University Teaching Hospital Parkland in Enugu. And of course, she's the governor representing Africa in the World Glaucoma Association. So anything that has to do with your eyes, she will give you information first and standard. Thank you very much, Prof.
Thank you very much.
And of course, this is the Viewpoint. This, of course, we do every Friday to bring you topical issues concerning glaucoma, and it's done in collaboration with the Eye Specialist Hospital Enugu, TESH. On Friday next week, we'll be here. Bye for now.